it's Nicole and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to repot this Dendrobium Buttercup. It's been in bloom for me for 2 months and it had 3 flower spikes on it. It was really beautiful. And this is a Dendrobium phalaenopsis. It's potted in bark, so I will show you. And usually I pot these up in a mixture of bark and sphagnum moss, but I'm experimenting with inorganic medium. So today we're going to repot this in LECA. So I will walk you guys through how I set that up, and we'll start by seeing what's going on with the root system. So let's see. So I've soaked this already, and the roots should come off pretty easily. So let's see what we have in here. So let me squeeze this pot out. Okay. So it looks like this has been in here for a while. Let's see. I always look to see if there's any bugs in the medium. What the heck is this? I'm not sure what that is. I always say I should wear gloves and then I never do. Looks like a little mold actually. I'm gonna go get gloves and I'll be right back. All right, back with gloves. I should generally always wear gloves, though I'm pretty lucky. Where I order these orchids from, I got them from Carmela Orchids, and I've never, oh, it's 2 orchids, look at that. So one of the flower spikes came from here and one came from here. I think I'm still gonna pot them up together. So when I had this, sorry for the background noise. When I got this, I got 2. I got an extra from Carmela Orchids. They sent an extra, which was really nice, and I gave it to my mom. So she has this orchid as well, and I can't wait to see it bloom for her. So it's so cute. It's like pink and green. You guys have seen it in bloom. But yeah, this isn't too bad. It does look like a lot of the roots are dead, but that's okay. There's a lot of new root tips growing, and you can see a new growth over here, which looks like it was buried under the medium, which is why it's so light. But that is all good. Compared to that Oncidium, this is a joy. I'm gonna take this off. Doesn't look so bad. It just looks like it's a little bit of mold. Like, I don't know what this is. Or is it like a piece? It's like a piece of wood. I don't know. No bugs though, thankfully. I'll never forget. I was repotting a dendrobium that I got, and it had a bunch of worms in it. I wasn't wearing gloves. You'd think I'd learned my lesson by now, but I don't. Anyhow, not nice of lots of little nice growths. This one looks like it's a little rotten. I think I'm gonna get rid of that. All right, I'm going to finish taking the medium off and come back to clean off these old bulbs and clear off the roots. All right, I'm back, and I've rinsed out the root system. This is a nice new growth. I'm trying to think of what I'd like to do. Since this has 4 bulbs, 5 counting the new one, I think I'm gonna keep all of these together because the orchid will get its energy from the older bulbs. Looks like this is the oldest, this is the second oldest, and it looks like from here these could be the newest ones. And the new future growth will come from this direction. So we have one direction of growth here that will likely sprout from this side, so I'll keep that in mind as I repot. And then let's see, let's take a look at this. So this one has more bulbs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus this new bulb. I'm considering getting rid of this oldest bulb. I might get rid of these 2 because this seems like very squishy. So I don't think we need this anymore. I don't think it's serving the plant any purpose at this point, and it's probably just gonna rot. This one I'm borderline about. It's very old. Anyhow, let's start cleaning the root system. First, I'll cut off anything squishy and I'll be back and then we'll divide this. All right, so I cut off some of the roots. For such a beautiful orchid with so many flowers, I'm surprised by how the roots were so few and rotted. But that's what happens when it's been in the medium for such a long time. So I was pretty conservative when I cut off some of these roots. So I'm keeping some of these still here. And so I'm looking at this, and I do want to get rid of this mushy bulb, but it's tied very closely with this other pseudobulb, which is also tied to this other bulb, which is a little, this is the one with the leaf that's coming off. So this is older. Let me get rid of this leaf. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these two off of this other growth. Well, maybe I don't want to cause too much damage to the overall orchid, but as you can see, it's growing. It's like climbing up. So as we keep these below, and we're going to pot this below the medium, this is going to continue to rot, and I don't want that. So let's see. I see it's connected over here. Let's see if I can make a clean cut. Yep. That wasn't too bad. Yeah. So we're getting rid of these old growths. I don't want it to keep rotting because it's climbing. Yeah, this is much better. So we have actually quite a few new growths. So we have one here, another one, another one, another one. Wow. So I think I have an idea more or less of how I'm going to pot these up. And I think I just need them to face opposite directions in the pot, and then they should be able to grow out nicely. Next up here, let's get rid of the orchid. Let's get rid of the flower spike. This was so nice. This was a beautiful flower spike. It's so pretty. I love this flower. I think I'm gonna just save this. And then I'm gonna get rid of the other one. This one completely dried off, but it had something like 20 flowers on it. So I look forward to seeing this bloom again. I'm gonna cut it right there. Perfect. So I'm gonna give this a rinse, and then hopefully I didn't set this one too far back by cutting off those other growths, but it didn't make sense to keep it. And thankfully it's not a huge wound. I just got rid of it right here in the rhizome. It just wouldn't make sense as we're potting these to continue to bury these structures. Anyhow, I'm going to give this a power wash, and then we'll come back to pot it up. All right, we're going to pot this up into LECA. So instead of using the original container that came with this, I'm actually using a clear container that fits nicely. This is a 5-inch Repot Me container, and I'll link all of this down below. So this is great, this whole setup, but you know, I can't see the roots in here. So this is okay generally. Like, I repotted my seedlings into this, but I would love to see how this develops. So I'm going to swap this out, and I put the wick through here. I made a longer wick, and I'm going to layer this so that the moisture reaches higher. So I'm going to put this inside of my pot, and we will start. So thinking about what I want to do, we've got this growth, which I'd like to continue growing outwards. And then we have these growths, which are sort of everywhere. And this is pretty nice. So this is going to be a very bushy plant soon. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically pot this up so that the growths are facing outward. It's like so. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me start by filling a layer of LECA in here. And I'll keep the wick up when doing this. And this LECA has been boiled and soaked and cleaned, so it's good to go. I've also left it soaking in Super Thrive to help with the roots. Okay, so we've got a layer here, and we want to make sure that it's packed down. Okay. So we don't have a super extensive root system, so I filled this about 1/3 of the way up. And then, let's see, so this will face outside, and then I want it to look pretty though, so I don't want it to, maybe we do, yeah, something like that. So we'll put this first. Okay. Let me add a tiny bit more of the LECA. Okay. So I always want it to look nice. I don't want it to be like, if you see the top, I don't want it to look like too crowded, but I want it to look pretty. So I may just start with the one with the bigger root system, and then I'll work my way up to the dendrobium with the smaller root system. So we'll see how it goes with LECA. I hear that dendrobiums really like LECA, dendrobiums and cattleyas, so I'm trying this out for the first time actually, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to twirl this here. There we go. Want to make sure there's room for new growths. I'm glad we got rid of that other cane. It would have been buried too deep, and I don't think it would have thrived in this whole setup. But I'm really excited that we have these new growths coming in. And I look forward to seeing this bloom. I need to make sure, unlike bark and sphagnum moss, that there's contact all around with these pebbles. Rather, this LECA. Uh-oh, I dropped some. Okay. And it's impossible for these LECA pellets to really compact because they have a lot of room. They're little spheres, so it'll be just fine. And that's it. It looks fine on top. I would have never have thought it was 2 plants. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do is this looks okay. So I'm gonna top this off with some pebbles because I read that the top layer of LECA tends to dry quite a lot. So I'm going to top this off with pebbles. Again, this is courtesy of the Orchid Room, Annabelle. This was a great idea that I'm taking from her, in that she covers everything with a little bit of grit or stones that don't wick. So this keeps the moisture in, which is fantastic. And it looks, I'll be able to keep an eye on the root system here, which I'm excited about, but I need to make sure that this goes down a little bit because I need the clay pebbles to make contact. So I will take care of that and come back with the final result. So we are all set. I'm really happy with this outcome. I've added a layer of pebbles, as you can see, to the top layer so that it maintains as much moisture as possible in there. The LECA will make sure that there's enough moisture, but it won't suffocate the roots because they're spheres. And as you can see, that little baby growth there I've kept open. I tried to be very mindful of where I saw some of the growths when I potted. So they should be able to pop out just fine, and the roots shouldn't desiccate because of that dry top layer. Yeah, I'm very happy with how this came out. Well, thank you guys for watching. I look forward to experimenting more with LECA in the future, and I'd like to see how it does. So I will keep you guys updated on how this orchid grows, and thanks again for watching. Bye, everyone.